This is Character Crusade number 18.
You're listening to Character Crusade.
Greetings, Crusaders. You're listening to Character Crusade's Skyrim Roleplay Workshop and Part 2 of the Mod Roundtable with Stu, Matt, Joe, and Jessa. What's up next? Well, we'll rejoin our roundtable discussion from our last episode with another mod recommendation from Jessa.
Yep. All right.
My turn?
What is next, Jessa?
Okay, so you will see I dropped a little note there in the Skype chat for you to take a look at. But my mods next up. So you've made your Skyrim beautiful. You've gotten a great weapon mod. It's ready to go out. You're ready to go out, kill some stuff. Fantastic. You go in, you take care of a forsworn camp. You know, people are dying left and right, begging for their mommies. It's all great fun. You get a couple of awesome kill cams. And you're like, that kill cam was amazing. Darn, I wish I had a picture of it. Well, now. You guys like how I worked that up there?
That's amazing. Yeah, I love that.
Well, now you can, because I have discovered a mod that was mentioned over at, I've said it 3 times now, over at the subreddit for Skyrim mods, which is where I find out a lot and get a lot of help. It's really a very helpful place. I've said that a gazillion times already. Anyway, auto Killcam screenshot is my new toy. As Cayman goes through Volundor, for example, he gets these fantastic screens, these wonderful kill cams, and they're beautiful, but, you know, you can't really, you know, you could, of course, you have a video of it, but it's easier to send pictures to your friends and upload them on Twitter. Auto kill cam screenshot is basically customizable through an MCM menu within the game, and will take pictures starting when the kill cam starts automatically. It will start taking pictures every period of time. And so at the end of the kill cam, you'll end up with, say, 10 pictures or 15 pictures of that kill cam, which is great because some of them won't look so good, but others you'll just get just the right look. And this mod combined with another mod called Killcam Blur Removal, because I was enjoying the auto Killcam mod. And by the way, I have noticed no slowdown in frames. So if you get that fantastic decapitation, which I will never get because I've turned that off, but but let's say you're just going around, lopping people's heads off left and right. Well, now you can get pictures of that head flying left, right, center, duck.
For someone who's turned it off, you certainly know an awful lot about it.
Good point, Matt.
That's a good point. And,
boy.
we'll be talking about that later. But Auto Killcam screenshot is by Vago Numero, and it's one of those tiny mods that I can't believe everyone isn't grabbing. It's only got 225 endorsements. That's it.
It's going to be like 225,000 when people are done listening to this podcast.
Absolutely, because I am shouting it to the rooftops. I've got and actually I do. I have several, maybe 12, 15 really good shots that I grabbed from there. From the mod that I will be sending over to the Facebook page, the Character Crusade Facebook page, to put up along with all of your photos and screenshots of the game as well too.
Thank you so much,
let's
Jessa.
See those heads fly.
That's right.
Cool.
Yeah, Jessa will avert her eyes, but the rest of us can look.
I will.
That's right. No problem.
Decapitations, and so that second the mod that I have, actually, in case anybody, I have two mods in that signify what a wussy I am. One is called No Blood, and it's really simple. It's on Nexus, and it's No Blood by the page is coming up here.
What does it do, Jessa?
Well, I'll tell you. It takes a squeegee and removes all the blood from your game. Huh. It's fun.
Neat.
Wow.
How does that work with enhanced blood?
Do they conflict?
Are they compatible? I should be the one derp that goes into the post and be like, duh, is this compatible with Crimson Tide?
Enhanced no blood.
No blood. No blood like you've never seen before.
Enhanced no blood overhaul.
Yes.
2.
Yes. We have 4K invisible blood textures.
Exactly.
But they're super light.
Why I can't get 60 frames a second? My blood, my invisible blood is totally ruining my gaming experience.
Well, what if you kept the blood, but then just turned it all green? Would that be better?
You're slaying Romulans?
Killing predators and stuff. Is that less?
If you added in that Dark Fantasy Overhaul, and then you went in and added some alien, stuff, and
there you go.
Maybe a spaceship. I saw a mod of a spaceship in the middle of Whiterun Plains once.
Okay.
But seriously, I really don't. But the only problem I had with this, I will warn you, is that I had no problem with it, except that one time it did break the quest in Windhelm, the murder mystery quest.
Oh, that's kind of buggy anyway.
The blood path.
Yeah, you can't follow the blood.
Blood on the ice.
Embarrassing amount of time on camera, viewers watching me going, "Hey, I don't know where the blood is. Where could it be?" I'm looking. I'm looking.
Yeah, that would be a problem.
Yeah.
Oopsie.
I can't follow the trail.
I could, and I forgot, and I had the mod in because I just had it in for so long.
This thing's broken.
So I, of course, I want to be that one person that goes in the post and be like, "This broke my game, man," and I can't.
Gosh.
Somebody cleaned it all up.
Yeah. Some industrious guard cleaned it all up and ruined all the evidence.
But then you have Stu, who has, I think you have Crimson Tide in, or enhanced
blood textures set to max.
Stu's in a regular blood bath. I mean,
clean up your corpses. This is the light version of that. It's clean up everything.
Clean up everything, basically.
Clean up everything.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. But if that's the game experience you're going for, and I know with your videos it's important to keep that to a minimum and really none.
That is part of it as well too, because I'm always encouraging.
That's a good thing.
A lot of parents watch my videos. A lot of people, kids, and they often will have the video on playing in the background or whatever while their kids are toddling around their knees.
Right. I think that's great. I mean, to keep that, to be cognizant of that audience.
Right.
Exactly. So yeah, decapitations and no blood they won't be happening on the channel. Not for me.
Cool.
All right.
Fallout 4, anybody?
Fallout 4, anyone?
Fallout 4.
All right.
All righty.
Exploding heads.
On the other channel is Exploding Heads.
Yes.
They really went all out. They had like their budget was basically like this. It was like lunches, voice actors, textures, exploding heads.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and the new game engine now allows us to have the head explode into many more chunks than we did in version 3.
Yeah, they actually spent technical time on it.
Wow.
But how is that different from Super Smash Brothers stuff, where you've got destroying rib cages and
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know.
I'm such a wuss. I either won't play the game or I just turn all that stuff off. There's a game where it's called Gibbs. Basically, when you cut the enemy, it explodes into parts, and it's called gibbing. And the minute I found out what that's called, I went into the settings, like no Gibbs, no Gibbs, no Gibbs, no there. Check mark.
Yeah, well, the nice thing is that you can, for the most part, you can have the kind of game you want here, right? So you can throttle that stuff down if you want, or up. Most mods, at least, will allow you to do that. So that's a good thing. Having choice.
Yep.
Right?
Choice is important.
Cool.
All right. What do you got for us, Joe?
All right, next up, I'm going to skip down to, since we're kind of rolling on overhauls and retexturing and stuff, I'm going to go down to the Ruffled Feather.
Love that mod.
The Ruffled Feather package, which I initially got because I wanted to enhance the water look, but it's got so much more. I mean, I don't even remember all the stuff in it, but it overhauls a lot of the fauna and grass and woven fences and water, of course. And
in this case, fauna being just what?
Just like grasslands and plants, and just the general.
It doesn't add fawns to the game, is what you're saying.
No.
Baby deer?
No, it doesn't add anything.
That's Animallica.
Bambies?
Animallica.
Bambies?
Animallica adds these wonderful bunnies and boar and all this, and deer and stuff like that. Unfortunately, they're all homicidal, incredibly homicidal. Yes. So I had to uninstall it because unfortunately I was really tired of Bambi trying to disembowel me.
Yeah, that's a problem.
It's sort of a memory ruiner.
Well, generally deer don't act like that, so.
Yeah.
Well, to give the
it
mod
is deer
some credit,
opener. Maybe it's the other way around this weekend.
To give the mod some credit, a lot of the animals are set to be cowardly or behave normally, but a lot of them, they had some dogs in there. Wonderful, beautiful mod. And if you don't mind the aggressive and like the fighting, but I couldn't kill the animals. I wanted to walk with the animals and have them maybe behave in a defensive manner, but not, poor little puppy.
That's interesting.
Wild puppy dog trying to kill me, and I can't kill the dog.
That seems like it would be an easy thing to fix.
I believe it is by design. I believe the modder would prefer it that way.
Huh. All right. Well.
So, yeah, no,
I
but
could be wrong on
the
that,
Ruffled Feather for me is just kind of amps up the serenity and just overall beauty of the game.
Yeah.
It even includes an access for the Argonians in Riften.
That's right.
Which is cool.
I like that.
I do not play an Argonian character, so I haven't used that, but it's a nice touch.
Yeah.
And it just does a lot of things. It tweaks some of the performance issues, or not issues, but it tweaks them to improve your performance a little bit. It's just kind of a real good beautification / utilitarian type of mod.
It is kind of an odd mixed bag.
It
right?
really is,
because I like the water mod part of it. When I first started modding, Ruffled Feather was not a collection yet.
No, it wasn't.
I was just using the straight water mod, but then I've since upgraded, and I'm using Ruffled Feather now, which includes water, but a bunch of other things.
Right.
And what I really like is not only are you getting this, really nice water textures, but you're also getting like aquatic plants near the shore.
Right. Yeah.
Lily pads and cattails and all that kind of stuff, which is really cool. It retextures, I think, some of the ice and snow.
Yeah, that's
in
also
different places
in there.
And interestingly enough, optionally, it adds a crab with a top hat and a monocle. But if you don't want that,
I did
you
opt
can elect not to install that.
I did not opt for the
I did
aristocratic crab.
Yes, I did not do that either.
Yes. Yes, Buffy, I'm the crab.
He looks like Planter's peanut crab or something. Yeah, he's got the top hat and a monocle.
meat.
Seriously,
Ain't nobody
it's
want
weird.
Planters peanuts with crab.
It's like called like Sir Krabby or something like that.
Yeah, it's
And
ridiculous,
It's still
but-
weird. It's got a little picture of him, and you just check the box, and he gets loaded.
Yeah.
I don't know where he shows up, but
I don't either, but
it's so
Oh,
weird.
he shows up, I'm guessing, at the King Crab's
Yeah.
spot outside of Rorikstead.
Which,
Oh,
by
that
the
could
way,
be.
freaked me the hell out the first time I saw the giant ghost crab. I could not
yeah.
freaking handle it. It was like, fighting. I've been fighting, Death Lords and all this stuff, but then I saw the giant crab and
lost his
freaked
stuff.
out. Yeah, I lost
Freaked
my
out,
shit.
And he went to Nexus and he was all like, "No King Crab mod, no King Crab mod."
Well, it stopped me from ever doing Froki's side quest ever again because, I'm sorry, your bow is crap if I got to go fight a giant ghost crab. But I mean, you're thinking, okay, sure, it's a crab. I can fight a crab. I can fight a mud crab. But then when you actually run into it, and the thing was, I didn't know where it was. I mean, I just ran into it randomly. And so I'm just walking across the tundra, and it's like a crab the size of a house rises up and is like, what the? And I just booked it. I'm like, I didn't even know what to do. But,
oh no.
That's when you get out that Rambo
gosh.
exploding
The
head
things
arrow.
that we do in our games. Oh my goodness.
wow. Yeah. So, yeah, if you're interested in that, people, that side quest is go to Froki's shack in the Rift, and he will offer you a little challenge to find these, I don't know, ghostly beast creatures.
Yeah,
Whatever. There's a
yeah.
skeever and a wolf and a crab and a horker, and I think there's 4 or 5 of them. If you kill them all, you can come back and he'll give you some kind of a special bow. It's a unique enchantment, I think, for use against animals. But something like
Is
that.
it worth it?
No. It is most definitely not. Well, that's a cool one. I love that one. And that's a regular on my playlist.
Yeah,
for sure. Mm-hmm.
All right, who's up next, Stu?
That would be me.
What do you got?
So coming in on the heels of my Dark Fantasy Overhaul mod selection, I am offering up The Honored Dead. The Honored Dead,
Stop
ladies and
that
gentlemen.
voice.
Ladies and gentlemen, The Honored Dead. This we have had big man. The Honored Dead. I love this one. It adds basically. It adds atrocities to your game. That's basically what it does. Sorry, I add all these dark things, don't I?
And then he runs from a crab screaming.
And then I run from the crabs. Yeah,
You're going to have like a Mr. Rogers character. That
never. Never.
No,
well,
that's
we've
fine.
issued
That's my
a
name.
challenge to Alistair. Maybe we need to issue one to Stu.
man.
Oh, can you
Yeah.
imagine Stu
Oh,
playing
I
a
would
happy,
love to see
friendly?
you play like a sweet little girl character, and she had that bunny with the backpack on it.
I'm getting uncomfortable.
All right, Honored Dead.
The Honored Dead adds some things to kind of emphasize, I think, the darkness around the civil war, the civil conflict in the province of Skyrim. So it creates some areas that are sort of like little Easter eggs in Skyrim where you're going to find scenes going on. You'll encounter a battle, for example, between Stormcloaks and Imperials over some kind of a sacked caravan. Like it looks like a caravan has been attacked by one party or the other. There's an area, I think, in Solityyud where you can find basically a gibbet where they're hanging captured Stormcloaks, executing them. There's an area not far from Whiterun where there are soldiers burning the bodies of the opposing army, and they're basically trying to clean up the mess after a battle, and you'll come upon that, and you'll find a bunch of guys standing around basically a pit they've dug with a bunch of burning bodies in it. What it does is it just kind of adds a little bit of dark flavor and increases the kind of the gravity of the whole situation. And if you're looking to do a playthrough where you're really trying to emphasize the Civil War as the central part or the core of your story, I think it's one of these mods that just adds a little bit of flavor to the whole thing. So, Honor Dead, I highly recommend it. I like it, and what I like about it is that these are things that are just kind of integrated into the environment. You stumble across them, and they're really kind of heavy in many ways. This mod is by JakeOberg, is his screen name on the Nexus. So Honor Dead works great, looks great with Dark Fantasy Overhaul and some of the other things that I'm using. So that is my mod selection.
Cool.
Jessa, what you got?
My turn. Yay.
Your turn.
You're
Go.
up.
Okay, I've got one that's just gonna. Oh, and by the way, before I bring up what it is, let me also mention that the mod that I was talking about previously, my last turn, that disables decapitations, is called "You Shan't Be Beheaded," and that link
Makes
will
sense.
be in the description box below
That's like-
with everything
I'm
else,
not
or
sure what
in
that
the
one is.
description wherever you're watching this on iTunes or not watching. Gosh, a YouTuber through and through, listening to this on iTunes. So
It's
my
it's
next
really the
mod
people
is-
watching this in IMAX that really need to know.
They're like, they put down their popcorn to like take a note.
That's what that huge camera was for. I didn't know.
Yeah, that camera truck backed up to my front yard this morning. I was like, what the heck? So the next mod I have is one that I will bet that many of you haven't heard of. I bet all three of you guys are going to be completely surprised and amazed by this mod because it has 153 endorsements and that's it. And it's fantastic. It's called, try this on for size, Trifle from Hiro, The Gate, Solityyud. You're like, what?
What the holy hell is that? So they serve desserts at the gate.
Oh, that's nice.
That's Trifle.
I like that.
A little bit of trifle for you.
A little bit of trifle and
Yes, please.
a little bit of spotted.
Could I have
I
one
won't
for
say
my
the
crab?
last word.
Oh, yes. It is only a type of fish, madam.
So I put the link to that because it's very difficult to spell. Because he has, and this is why I believe this is one reason why the mod is not known. What it is a beautiful retexture of the gates that go into Solityyud.
Oh,
All
okay.
of the main gates.
Yeah,
And
they're
if-
pretty
Can you
blocky
see them
and,
on the
and
screen
blah.
now? They are mind-blowing. They showcase for you, the listener, I will describe it, has broken the gates up into four big panes. The top pane showcases a lighthouse, beautifully done. When you get up close to the door, you can see the bumps and the ridges. It's wonderful. The second pane shows a ship coming into that lighthouse. And then the two bottom panes have mermaids and this wonderful stylized waves. It makes you feel when you're about to enter Solityyud, like you're not just going to enter this, this city. You're going to enter into the capital city of Skyrim. It changes
What is the mod
whole
called again, Jessa?
experience.
Search for
Okay,
trifle.
so I'm gonna have to spell it because it's hard. It's called Trifle, just spelled like trifle with one F. From Hiro, spelled Hiro. The Gate, as it's spelled, and then the last word is Solityyud, which he has purposely misspelled in a very odd way. Solityyud. Try that on for a mod name.
There's no surprise that this has hardly any views.
Nobody can find it. And the way I found it was in a random post from, once again, the Skyrim mod subreddit. and it was in those small. It was one of those, list your favorite tiny mods that nobody knows with, under 500 endorsements or something like that. Have you guys got it up now?
No, not yet.
Well, the link I put in Skype may not be helpful because whoever has Skype up may not be able to pull it up.
Yeah, the machine we run Skype on is not convenient for all of us to see.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But what we have found is
if you try typing into Google just the word Solityyud as it's spelled, SOLITYYYUD, you should be able to see it. Hopefully that will help.
Yep,
I'm going to try Googling.
I've got it.
There we go.
Yeah, I can't talk and type at the same time. It's not my thing.
I think that this person wants to keep it hidden is the problem.
He does, very desperately.
Well, we found some other stuff by him, some book retextures and stuff, and I'm getting the impression that he's he's not an English speaker. He's Asian or Japanese, maybe. I don't know. But some of the other mods that I saw out there were not on Nexus.
I see.
So I see. Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah, that's
okay.
nice.
We see it.
See?
That is crazy.
See? That's what happened. And when you walk up to it,
that's very nice.
after you've put it into your game and you've been in the game for 25 hours or whatever, and you haven't gotten to Solityyud yet, and you finally are weary of bone and thirsty and hungry, and you walk up and this is what you see, it's just like, it really is amazing. To you, listener,
and
I can't describe it enough. And don't worry, you do not have to try and spell it.
We'll provide that.
That's
cool.
Yeah, that definitely seems fitting of a capital city.
Yeah.
And it's a really interesting juxtaposition to the stonework around it, because the stonework isn't as ornate as these doors are. It's we're getting there. We're starting with the doors.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well,
it's as if an emperor said, let's make, not an emperor, but a high king,
right.
Said, let's actually make our city seem like something to be, to behold. Basically, when you walk up
and
to
Solityyud is supposed to be that city.
Right.
I mean, it's really supposed to be. Well, let's frame that up, right? I mean, Solityyud is supposed to be the seat of imperial power in Skyrim. So you would expect it to be a bit more cosmopolitan and so forth. However, if you're looking for eye candy, Markarth is supposed to be the city that's kind of filled with ancient architecture and all those kinds of things, right? It's like I love how that gate looks, and you're right, it's absolutely appropriate. It's got a little bit of a maritime thing going on there too, which I think blends really well with what Solityyud is, part of what Solitude's all about.
I'd say that this is probably my top favorite very tiny mod that made the biggest kind of change as far as to Skyrim.
Yeah.
And it's a shame that it's so little known, but we will be doing somewhat. This episode should fix some of that.
That's great.
Bring some people.
I love that.
Cool.
Okay. What's next, Joseph?
All right. I'm going to jump back up to the Paarthurnax Dilemma.
Paarthurnax. Okay.
So if
I'm not killing Parthy.
No, if you have done anything with the Dragonborn and you make your way to High Hrothgar and you learn all that there is to learn, and you go up and visit Paarthurnax, and then you go visit the Blades, and the two shall not mix.
Yep.
Basically, at some point, if you're, as many people know by now, you're given a choice. You either let Paarthurnax live, on which point you're done with the Blades because they won't talk to you. Or if you want to continue with the Blades, you got to get rid of Paarthurnax, in which case all of the High Hrothgar monks hate you.
Yep.
So what this mod does is it resolves that by adding dialogue and new pathways to choose so that you can have your cake and eat it too.
Wonderful.
Essentially what it'll do is it'll add some dialogue and the ability to basically tell the Blades, screw you. This is how it's going to happen, and you're going to like it. Because basically I'm the Dragonborn, and I'm telling you what's going down. And you argue and you banter a little with them, but eventually they get your point, and you can be allowed to continue with the blades without having to kill Paarthurnax.
Yeah, I love that because that's one of the things that it always pissed me off. For me, it wasn't about not wanting to kill Paarthurnax necessarily. It was about the fact
that you had
that
choice.
Delphine felt like she could tell me I couldn't come into Skyhaven Temple anymore.
Right.
I just wanted to chop her head off because that pissed me off. Like, who the hell are you to tell me, the Dragonborn, I can't come back to Skyhaven Temple unless I kill Paarthurnax? That whole thing made me mad, and I was like, I don't care how many quests I break. I'll kill Delphine and Esbern before I let them keep me out. It just doesn't fit, right?
Yeah. It is a bit of a discourse on
It feels shoehorned in.
It kind of does.
Yeah.
It kind of does. I agree.
Yeah.
So that's what I liked about this particular mod.
And the way that it does it is great.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it really does. It kind of does it with an attitude.
It makes you feel like you're the boss, and that's what you're supposed to be.
Yeah,
right?
well, yeah, exactly.
I love that.
So it's a nice fix for that particular problem.
Awesome. That is a good one.
The Paarthurnax Dilemma is by Arthmoor, who is very well known as well for other mods like Live Another Life, which I would never play without.
Oh, yeah.
And which saves you from having to go through the cart sequence. As great as they did a job with it, 512 times is a bit much.
All right. My turn?
Your turn.
Okay. This one falls into that category, Jessa, of little known, but wow, does it add some fun stuff. This one is called Creative Weapon Use. And
nice.
What I love about this is it takes random objects. It takes all the objects virtually that you can find laying around in Skyrim and allows you to use them
like
as
a
weapons.
fork.
Yes. So you can club somebody with a tankard. You can beat somebody with a shovel. You can do all that stuff. I love it.
Why wouldn't you be able to?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. What I love the idea that if you wanted to, you in a bar brawl or whatever, you could role play that by just picking up a tankard and smacking somebody with it.
Bottle of wine.
Did you just say my mother looks like a horker? Oh no, you
Bam!
didn't. Where's my shovel?
Oh no, you didn't.
Yes, I did. Oh no.
Yeah. So
here's a list of viewers of
man.
the weapons that you can use on a, and whether they're two-handed or one-handed: shovel, iron shovel, hoe, pitchfork, close iron.
yes,
You
you
know?
can use a clothesline.
Boing.
Could you
A
use
soldier
other
holder,
objects like a
dining
table?
fork, dining knife, a broom, beat him with a broom, blacksmith hammer, which would be actually that would be a cool
That'd be a good
character concept. The tongs as well too. You can pick their eyeballs out.
Yeah.
This from the person who doesn't like the
silver goblet,
decapitations.
You can beat them with a silver goblet, sort of throw your drink at them.
I mean,
silver jug,
okay.
and the candlesticks.
How perfect is it? You become the Dragonborn and you ascend to this position of power, and then somebody tries to stand up to you, like for example Delphine, and you beat her to death with a candlestick you pull right off the table in Skyhaven Temple, and then toss her off the cliff. Like there we go.
Dragonborn in the temple with the candlestick.
Yeah, that is so Al Capone, right?
Totally.
I'm walking around the table with a baseball bat, and everybody's wondering who's going to get it.
Not gonna worry.
Or a broom.
Or a broom, or a saw, or a tankard, or whatever it is.
Or your iron.
Yeah.
That you were just making yourself look, your clothes for tomorrow.
So one of the things we talked about in our last mod roundtable was I had mentioned the mod Dynamic Things. That makes it so you can open and look inside of all the crates and all the barrels laying around and all these different things, and the bags and stuff. That combined with this mod, which makes basically everything something you can add to your inventory as a weapon, is just priceless. I really love it. So it's a subtle thing, but man, is it fun.
Go outside, get a tree, bring that back in.
And again, this was another mod that I originally picked up because I wanted to use it with Robard, because I'm thinking lively taverns, brawling, give me that tankard, let me smack somebody with it, let me see what I can come up with. But I've discovered that knowing that option is there with all of my characters, no matter what they're like, is just kind of fun for me. So
cool.
Again, that one was called Creative Weapon Use. Only 116 endorsements. So for what it does, it's kind of surprising. So, all right.
So,
does it
you had
require a
mentioned dynamic
proximity?
things.
Yes.
You had mentioned dynamic things, and that's a fantastic mod that I have used for a long time as well. But it's important to note that the mod is no longer being updated by the original mod author, Dominoid, and has been sort of taken up. The reins have been taken up by another mod author who has created a patch which fixes several important things with the mod, little bugs that weren't fixed with the first version, including if you drink from a cask, the mod turns casks into things you can actually drink from.
Yep.
And if you drink from a cask in certain situations, the people, if you're seen doing so, it'll be considered stealing.
Okay.
When it shouldn't be.
Right.
And you know, the Draugr will rise up in force and beat you with their brooms. So yeah.
You drank our rancid mead. How dare you?
That's been
Now
aging
you're
for
going to
hundreds of
die.
years. We were saving that.
For our birthday party
Damn
next
it.
month, and it's ruined.
This how long can you age mead?
I'm not quite
I
sure.
don't know.
Are they oak
So
casks?
either the mead will kill you, or the
Yeah.
angry Draugr will.
Yeah, I
And
know.
that's dynamic things enhanced.
Okay.
And that's
Okay.
important to note.
Good
that.
point.
Sweet. Thank you for that, Jessel.
You're welcome. Is this last one roundabout before
Yeah.
we do the last part?
Yeah, I think we're hitting the end here. Let's do another go around. What do you got?
Okay, then I'm going to cheat. I have two. One I do use, and one I want to mention that I haven't used, but just sounds so amazing. The first one is called, this is another one, well, it's actually got 8,000 endorsements, so that's not small. But it is the main menu wallpaper replacer.
Oh, okay.
It's a
I think I've seen that.
randomizer. And that's the neat thing. It doesn't just replace the wallpaper, the main menu,
Oh, okay.
with one static wallpaper. It replaces it. You can create as many as you want. I don't know how
Oh,
many.
you
I
can
have
add your
myself.
own?
You can add your own.
Oh, nice.
And it randomizes it. So each time you start the
It's
game,
different.
you see a
Cool.
different photo of, and you can use
Of your
you know,
most awesome
photos.
character ever.
Exactly.
Cool.
So every time I start the game, I see a different picture randomized through my list, and I think I have maybe 20 or 30 in
Wow.
there, but it's endless. You can put as many as you want in there. It takes a little bit of finagling to get it done, because you need to the image background on the main menu is not just a PNG or a JPEG. It's a particular file type, and you need to find an app that can open it, and it's actually not too hard. And while the next one of you are talking, I'll look it up real quickly and mention it towards the end. But I did it, and I used a little graphics program that I found, and I just made the photos. And so every time I open up my game, I see some new photo, either from one of my gameplays or from something I found online. It's really a nice little kind of, let's get in the mood to play Skyrim. It's time to go into the story.
Nice.
Little feature, and that is called main menu wallpaper replacer HD 1080p now with randomizer. Blah blah blah. That's the actual name. But
Sweet. Blah, blah, blah. Cool.
Yeah.
Is there any weird spelling in that one either?
No, but I'll be sending you a text file, Matt, with every mod that we've talked about and where they and their links. I've been
Outstanding.
keeping it as we've going.
Oh, wow. I think I love
Love
you.
it.
I know. And we'll just keep that between ourselves.
Joe listens to hours of podcasts just to get the stuff that we link
Fast
to.
forward, go back.
Oh,
What
I
time
knew
was
that
that
was
at?
gonna happen, so-
Was it?
No,
go back.
Oh, we edited the video, changed the time.
No, it's all on the list here. I've been keeping it as we've been going.
Thank you, Jessa.
Wow,
Nice.
that is
So-
amazing.
Nice.
The next mod, but that, because you guys love me so much now, I can say one more mod.
Okay, go for it.
One more mod.
This is the ultimate mod.
Ooh.
This mod is better than any other mod in the world. Why? Because it's yours. Your mod. Yes, this is called GameToMod by Jackson of famous Jackson's Utilities, Jackson's Positioner, Jackson's Renamer.
Jackson's everything.
Many of us have Jackson's mods in, and she is an incredible modder.
I heard about this one.
I haven't tried this mod, but I thought, heck, let me tell you about it anyway because it's just so cool.
Now, is it officially released or is it still a work in progress?
It's officially released as far as I can see. And let me just tell you how she opens up here on her mod page. It's awesome. There's a picture of a smiling African-American man with braids, and it says, I'm imagining he's African-American, who knows? Anyway, yo, dog, I heard you like using mods in your game. So I made it so you can make mods in your game with the mods you use while you game, dog.
Holy crap.
Basically,
that's amazing.
Is let's say you get a house, you have Breeze Home, and you spend hours using Jackson's Positioner to put in a new rug or whatever. Like, oh, actually, even a better example. Let's say you've built your own fort called the Emperor's Anvil outside of Whiterun, and you love this fort.
I do. I love my fort.
You love it.
I love it.
You play with it every day, and you take it out and you play with it. And anyway,
it's lots of blankets strung between chairs. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And he has, and even if, and what I'm referring to, for those of you who have not watched it 12 times like I have, is Stu's showing off Tundra Defense and his fort called the Emperor's Anvil, run by his character. What's his character's name, Stu?
Shulot. That's Shulot.
Shallot.
I was like,
Shulot.
Like what you cook with, but not really.
Yeah.
I was like, do you need to blow your nose? Are you okay?
like shallots with the emphasis on the
ooh.
Something else.
On the ooh.
Yeah.
Like shallot with an ooh.
Yeah.
You can see why, listener, why we're not all in the same room, because if we were, we would never get any work done.
Yeah, and it would be even hotter in here than it is right now. Oh, my God.
It would be even more aromatic.
Oh, man.
We try to not bring that up on purpose.
Yeah, well, yeah. We're ruined as soon as smells go across on a podcast, if they figure that out. Yeah.
Smell-o-vision.
If they ever figure out a smell-o-cast, we're done.
New iPod plugin.
Okay, anyways, so
fantastic
talk
mod.
about this, please.
It's called GameToMod. So let's say you have done, as Stu has made Tundra Defense, and he's made this great fort. You can then package that up as your own mod, complete. You can package up your complete game that someone can install with Mod Organizer and put it into their game complete.
It's so very meta.
I know.
How in the world does she do that?
Let's just take a moment and consider that.
That's pretty amazing.
I'm just going to sit here thinking in awe.
The question I would have then is, I can see how it would work with her tools, right? That makes sense to me. But I wonder if you could do it though. If I'm using Tundra Defense to build something, am I going to be still able to create an ESP from that?
Yes, according to the features. And like I said, I have not tried this, can't verify it, but according to the features, it says exports object references from any interior cell, imports changes made via console or popular decorating mods, honors items renamed by Jackson Renamer, locked in place by Jackson Positioner, graceful handling of objects brought from other locations.
I don't think it's Jackson. I think it's Trinity.
What? Explain that reference, please.
I don't understand.
Matrix reference. I think that she's broken the Matrix and she's allowing us to piece together anything we want to piece together.
I think she's definitely broken Skyrim's Matrix.
I couldn't say Neo because you said it was a she.
Yeah, that's true. So, yeah, that's why none of us got it, because we were like, what?
Yeah, I know. Sorry. Secondary character, if you think about it that way.
Anyway, according to this, and then you can also... And this part I don't understand, but there's selectable filters by item type, source mod. I'm not sure how that works, but basically the basic usage, according to this mod, is you activate it and you load up your save game, you travel to a decorated cell, you open up the game's MCM menu, select the desired options and click create file. Exit Skyrim, load the same mods used in your game, and you have to use TS5 edit as well. It seems like.
Okay.
You click apply script, select GameToMod, import script, click OK. Select the desired options, and then say that's it. Check the results, and
interesting.
And you have a new mod, basically.
Wow.
So I have heard this being talked about. It only has 93 endorsements, probably because everybody's going, what?
Yeah, no kidding. Well, Yo Dog.
Yo Dog. They got lost on the first Yo Dog. They're like, what? And I haven't tried it either, just because, to be honest, I don't know. I mean,
I'm worried it's going to rip a hole in the space-time continuum.
Yeah.
But the fact that, like, if I could take Mala's airship, as I've decorated it and spent all that time, and it's uniquely hers, and as a final gift in the last episode of a Let's Play, for example, to give the viewers your airship ready to go, throw in your game ready to go, that's pretty amazing. So this mod has a lot of promise. And and Jackson is a very good, both the two people working on it, by the way, are Jackson and Mator the Eternal, who is a key figure behind TS5 edit, behind the merge script. I think he wrote the merge plugin. In fact, I know he did. And is incredibly knowledgeable.
So there's just a little bit of brain power there.
A lot of brain power. So, you know, if it's not like Joe Blow said, hey, dude, let's see if we can do this. These two people are very, very, very skilled.
Wow.
And somebody's done some testing not known to conflict with any other mod.
Holy.
That's amazing to me, because
any load order.
I mean, Joe and I collectively have probably spent hundreds of hours in Tundra Defense, you know, building set pieces for our games and Let's Plays and stuff like that. Just, you know, I used it to build an entire mining community, and it would be so wonderful if you could pull that out, bundle it up, and just
that'd be
drop
amazing.
it in another game.
I really want to believe type mods, and there's a lot of you know, the people behind it. You can, you know, hope that it's the case, but still I'm just a little skeptical. Like, really?
Yeah, it seems really like too good to be true, right?
A little bit too good to be true. Yeah. But
spin.
I'm keeping my eye on it, my beady eyeball on that thing.
Well, I'd definitely keep an open mind about it. I'd love to try it out and see what it'll work with and what it won't. Very cool.
Exactly how easy it is to use and what it does.
Exactly. Very cool.
That's
well, thanks for bringing that one up. It's one that I had read something about a couple of months ago, and then I just kind of wrote it off because I thought, no way. You know,
it's not possible. Exactly.
But given, I mean, the people who are working on it, honestly, to be fair, do have a good pedigree. I mean, they've done a lot of stuff in the community, and Jackson's, you know, in particular, I mean, fairly sophisticated and interesting things, you know.
No one would have thought before she did it that it was possible to take something from another part of the world, bring it into your house, put it there, decorate it, set it there, you know, and it would just stay. Like, you could carry stuff, you know, like dragging it in front of you, but, you know, put it in your inventory. Take the thing, take a throne from one of the Draugr crypts, just put it in your inventory, lock it down, put it exactly, and move it exactly. You know, make a wall of nothing but soul gems, decorate it exactly. I mean, no one would have thought that was possible. And then she said, hey, it is possible. And here I did it.
And here you go.
And here's a tool so you can do it. Wow. It's cool.
Very cool.
All right. Awesome. That's a strong way to start wrapping up our last cycle here.
I think so.
What you got, Joe?
Well, following that up, do whatever the hell you want mod. Thanks, Jessa. I'm gonna back away, and I'm gonna back way off on something so stupid simple that adds so much flavor. And I know we've brushed over it in the past, and that is footprints.
Oh, gosh. I love that one. Yeah.
It's the most littlest thing you could ever think of that your character would, or your horse or a bear or anything could leave footprints in the snow or in the sands of Solstheim. But it's so cool. It's so much fun.
Do they stay forever?
It totally is.
No, they don't stay forever, but I mean, naturally they wouldn't either, especially in Skyrim with the wind blowing and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But they do stay for a certain amount of time. I actually tried tracking my horse that ran away once using footprints.
That's the amazing thing about it.
Damn it, where did... Because I have so much trouble with horses. But... So I'm like, where did this thing go? Because, they don't always stay when you enter someone somewhere and then come back out. And where the hell is my horse? Because I'm totally laden with loot. Damn it.
Yeah.
But you can actually, if they wandered off relatively recently, track them down in the snow.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I love
cool.
just the effect, too, of...
The effect, because it makes a little powder puff as you run through the snow and the ash
And the horses, too, leave hoof prints.
Yep. They leave prints according to what they are. It's a really
cool.
fun, neat little mod.
Yeah.
So.
It's great when you combine that with the hunting mods. Hunterborn, right?
Yes, sure.
You're at low level, especially when you're using iron arrows and stuff, and you can't even hope to take down a deer even with one shot. You take that shot and off it goes, and you're like, oh crap, and I got to really run for my dinner here. And you start hoofing it. Well, if you're lucky enough to be in a snowy region, you can actually track it, which is very cool.
That's cool.
And you get a second shot maybe if you're lucky. So yeah, I love that one.
Yeah, that is one of my favorites, and it's kind of like the player head tracking. I couldn't go without it.
Yeah, I love that.
Oh, I have found a version of player head tracking, or not a version, but a different mod. And I love player head tracking as well, too. But it can be a little heavy with scripts. My understanding. That's my understanding.
Yes.
And in my quest to continue to pare that down, I have found another mod. Here it is. It's called Lightweight Head Tracking and Emotions. And I have had no script problems with it. And it also does have your character react emotionally, facial emotions, to certain situations.
Oh, that's
really neat.
That's a neat touch.
And the head tracking works really well. And here under performance and stability, no scripts are running when you do not use head tracking, and it doesn't run all the time.
Okay.
No special requirements, no SCSI needed. It's not using the on update events, which create further script lag. The script is using lazy logic to minimize the impact on the overall latency. As few characters will be processed as possible. So,
cool.
Yeah. And also if a character sees a dead enemy, they'll sometimes have disgust or anger. A friend, ally, or lover, they will have happiness. A dead friend, ally, or lover, sadness. And it has worked.
Nice.
So that's
neat.
light head tracking and emotions by Flex Creator, an alternative for those of you who are trying to wring every little bit out of their system, as I am.
Yeah. Yeah, that's head tracking is, I think, essential for the role-playing part of it.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
Okay.
All right, Stu, I think, why don't you wrap us up?
Here's my last one. It is a twofer deal. It is a series of 2 mods that I love, animation mods called YY Anim Replacer. There are 2 flavors of this. One is called Mystic Knight, and one is called Zweihander. And basically what they are is replacements for all the basic animations in the game when it comes to wielding a weapon, stealth, spell casting, all of that stuff. It comes with a nice install menu, the Mystic Knight one I'm referring to here, that allows you to just basically check off those animations you want and leave out the ones you don't. Makes it very easy to install. And they just add a little bit of style and flourish to the things that you do in game. So you've probably, if you've watched any of my Let's Plays, you've seen, the characters who will kind of twirl the sword and sheath it. Yep. That comes from the Mystic Knight YY Anim Replacer.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah. The other one, YY Anim Replacer Zweihander, is for two-handed weapons, and it is the mod that I use with Shulat, for example, where he rests the two-handed weapon on his shoulder and he carries it over his shoulder, as opposed to just, holding it out. Presumably that weapon is very heavy, regardless of how strong your character is. It just kind of adds a nice sort of casual touch. And one of the things that I've always loved about it, particularly with Shulat and other kind of two-handed focused characters that I've created, is in particular when you're role-playing a character who is kind of a boss, is kind of a badass, is sort of that type of character. One of the things that I like to do with a non-stealth character is just have them walk into a dungeon, just friggin' walk in with the thing over their shoulder, like, okay, yeah, I'm going to own this place. And you just kind of go in at a walking pace with the sword over your shoulder, being fairly casual about stuff and then hacking things to pieces as they come at you. And it really adds an interesting touch if you're playing a character who uses a two-handed weapon. Now, this works with the two-handed swords, the great swords. It'll also work with the hammers and the battle axes, all that stuff. Anything that's a two-handed weapon. So if you're using immersive weapons and you're using any of the battle staff mods or the straight maces, things like that, those will all work with it as well. So very nice.
So for you listening, if you want to get into using YY Anim Replacer, like with any other animation mod, you're going to need to also learn how to use Forest's new idols in Skyrim FNIS, which is required for adding any new animations into Skyrim. Right. And there's a really good tutorial on that by Michael at Gamer Poets, which we will link to in the description as well. It's
pretty straightforward, really. So
pretty straightforward until you get into never mind. Dual sheath redux and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, in this particular case, it's not too bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it can get somewhat complicated depending on what you're trying to do. But for just adding in some simple animations, Forest's new idols in Skyrim is a very important part and necessary for that process.
Yeah, quite often what you'll be doing is you'll install your animation mods, and then prior to running the game, you'll run FNIS. That will create some setup files for you. And typically what I'm doing in Mod Organizer is I'm running FNIS, and it's dropping the files, the anim files, from FNIS into my overwrite folder. Then I usually save those out as a separate mod that is keyed to my character profile name. So I'll have several different flavors of FNIS mods all labeled with a character's name, and I'm activating the right one for the right character. So where Robard's concerned, I'm running FNIS, which will include some updates for YY Anim Replacer Mystic Knight, but I'm not using Zweihander for him, so I don't have to worry about that stuff. However, it's also indexing some animations for me for things like the cannabis mod, so when he lights up and does his little toke, that's included in that whole setup.
Sure.
So, yeah, you install that stuff first, and then run FNIS, and you get your files.
Nice.
And a very amusing note to add in, you mentioned that you enjoy walking in with someone like Shulat, walking in full armor plate with that big sword over your shoulder. Well, there's a added little touch if you want to add to that. I know that you use Perma. But I am using Ordinator simply because I wanted to avoid more patching. That's the honest truth.
Yeah, right.
And Ordinator is a really great mod, updated very, very often, like once a week it seems, by Anai Sion. And it has a feature in one of its perk trees, which basically, if you're, here we go. It's in heavy armor tree. Primal Fear, walking but not running in the direction of living enemies affected by menace, another perk in the tree, may break their confidence, causing them to flee. Basically,
that's kind of cool.
That is.
You can run away, and they'll just start trucking. They'll just book it, and
That's
you
cool.
just walk through the whole dungeon and like, well, my work here is done, and you go off and you get a Horker sandwich, and that's it.
Off you go.
Cool.
Well, shoot, man. We made it to the end of our list for tonight. This has been a fairly epic mod roundtable episode. Jessa, this has been super fun.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Did you want to do the thing I'd suggested after a break? Remember that? I had suggested. He has no idea what I'm talking about.
What did you suggested?
I suggested that we finish.
Oh,
with
yes.
Yes.
Yes. See here.
9:13.
Can I be kind of an ass?
Yeah.
All right. I just want to make one correction.
What's that?
I think it's pronounced Zweihander.
Well, you're saying he was saying Zweihander.
I said Zweihander.
It's because he's thinking of Zoolander.
Mm-hmm.
Zweihander?
Mm-hmm.
German?
Be German.
I love it. He's like, can I be an ass?
I'm going to look at it with my
Well,
boot.
No, we're gonna. What we'll do is we'll go back through this and find every instance of Stu saying that, and we'll overdub it with Joe saying Zweihander.
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 So.
Well,
thank you for the correction, Joe.
Well,
thank you, Joe. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, I know. Mm-hmm. I know. It's what I do.
So is that a yes or a no, Stu?
I'm thinking no.
Okay.
I'm thinking we're kind of hitting it late here. So
all right.
We'll probably
we'll save that for another one because I have the ultimate dream mod, and don't you guys wish you knew what it was?
Yeah. Well, write it down. Write it down. And
my dreams don't have to be written; they lie in my heart.
Of course.
Wow.
How nice is that?
Damn.
Yes. Mine lay in a smoking crater.
Middle age.
Yes. Oh God.
So thank you very much.
Yes.
For you guys for having me.
Yes.
I appreciate it.
Okay.
It's been wonderful.
Let's wrap this in a civilized manner then, shall we?
Okay.
Alrighty.
Excellent. Thank you, Jessa, for joining us in another roundtable. Super fun. This was like probably the most information-packed and informative episode of this podcast we have ever done. Second only to our last show we did with Jessa, perhaps. So, yeah, this is kind of amazing. And I think the one thing I would leave listeners with is if you're not modding and you're thinking of starting, the first thing you need to understand about modding is that once you download one and install it and get it working, you won't be able to stop. So, in light of that, I think we would all strongly encourage you to get out there and do your research. And if you really want to mod this game and have that kind of experience, it's something that you have to be prepared to dote over. So, get your mod organizer going, get yourself organized, do it right. And you're going to have a lot of fun. You're going to have a stable game, and you're going to have a vast archive of really cool stuff to draw from. And what it does is it just adds endless life and adventure and excitement to this game, which is now going on 4 years? 4 years old. Holy crap.
Yeah, in 2 days from
in
now.
2 days from now. 4 years old, people.
Wow.
And this game looks better than ever, plays better than ever.
And people
beautiful.
are still building new mods for it.
Yes. It's incredible.
I opened up my game last night after installing a mod overhaul called Purity.
Mm-hmm.
And I literally gasped. I've been out, hundreds and hundreds of hours in this game, and I still took my breath away.
Yeah.
And I want to thank you all for having me on the show yet again. I enjoyed it immensely. And I want to say to those of you watching, as Joe said, Stu said, that the mods really open up an entire vista for you. But there's no better mod than your imagination. So go out and let your imagination fly and enjoy Skyrim.
That's
Thanks.
right.
Well said.
Your imagination gives all these mods the context, right? Without that, what's the point?
Yep.
So,
Well, that's why we do it.
that is correct. All right. So let's wrap it up.
Well, dear listener, we have come to the end of yet another episode. As always, we want to thank you, the fans of our show, for your faithful support and continued encouragement. Your enthusiasm is the lifeblood of this podcast, and whether your support for our program comes via Patreon with dollars, through iTunes with reviews, or through your recommendations to friends and family, we appreciate it all. You can contact us through our website at charactercrusade.com. But until next time, remember, it's not about the objective, it's about the journey. So go forth and experience.
Character Crusade is a proud member of the N4G TV and Maker Studios Partner Network. N4G TV partners have access to exclusive production assets that are second to none and maintain full creative control over their channels. That's you, and that's me, and that's these Crusaders. Partner benefits include 24/7 customer support, SEO, what's SEO? A dedicated graphics team, I love me some graphics, a catalog of more than 400,000 licensed music and sound effects, and more. Learn more at n4gtv.com.